All right, folks, here we go. This is called, what is this called? The last time that I was here. This is the house. This is the Perkins house that Charlotte Lester was killed in. And this is the first time I have been back here. I want to show you. Here's the house. Here's where it happened. Right up there. Right? This is the neighborhood where the neighbors were rotten as we were trying to investigate her disappearance. This is the neighborhood with the neighbors that now we've learned were essentially protecting a murderer. As you know, folks, the story, Mark Perkins was arrested, and now we were just inside court where he's going to be held on first degree murder charges. Let me just bring this up a little bit. There we go. Yep. And now we're back. This is where we were. I know it's a little crooked. When he came out, the last time I was here, broadcasting just like this, was in fact the night that he attacked myself and Ladybug. So, folks, now here it is. All these weeks later, there's Anne. All these months later, and suddenly, here we are out. This is the house where it happened. This is the neighborhood in Warwick where it happened. And suddenly, we're the ones out here. And he is right now at the ACI. So, as we've now learned, and again, I want to thank everyone that was so supportive. I want to thank Kathy and Ed and Tina and Mark, her brother. Everyone. Hi there, Debbie. Everyone that was part of the searches. Folks, when I say we go in, Jesus. Another one. Here we go. They got him. Now I'm live in case you don't. No, in case you don't want to be. That's all I'm saying. If you don't mind. I thought we had another incident. I'm fine, everybody. I know. It scares you a little bit, just like that. As I was turning. So that was someone, I won't say who was just saying, hi there, Dave. Folks, see that you were watching. He was saying, so they finally got him. They did finally get him. There we go. I was turning so you could see my Rhode Patrol. Not anymore. We're back. So, but folks, they got him. This is the home. This is the Perkins home behind me, which will now be, they charged him with first-degree murder for the murder of Charlotte Lester. So she was last seen, this house behind me, coming up. Don't worry, you can't see you. Excuse me?
I don't want to talk to you.
I'm not looking to talk to you.
Okay, good.
So, no. Isn't one of the neighbors protecting the killer? So Mark Perkins, and I want to also share with people that when we would come here, look at like that type of attitude, right? But again, people, they can do what they want. I wasn't seeking out. Someone's walking up to me. I'm fine. For whatever reason, they're not that friendly in the neighborhood. Hi there, Rock. Yes, folks, we did it. Perkins arrested in court, charged with the murder of Charlotte Lester. And I want to go back. When we would come here, there were certain neighbors. To say they were rude is an understatement. To say, what are you doing here? We had a neighbor that was saying, she's not here. And why are you here? And leave him alone. And going on and on about that type of stuff. So, but they would give us a hard time on it. So again, this started, when we first came on scene, the first weekend after Charlotte had been missing, this entire house and property was a crime scene. And then we learned over the days ahead and weeks ahead that all roads led to Mark Perkins. And today, they got him this morning. They got him at Cumberland Farms, right down the street. But those of you that were watching last night, I'm fine. I'm fine. So those of you that watched, it was the summer of 2022. And I want to thank Lenore and some of our other people that we met, and obviously Ladybug and Jane Rice, and we had so many people that we met and learned. And folks, this case really launched what we're doing now, right, which is Rhode Patrol, and it's zeroing in on a story of crime, not politics, not waiting for the other media to do it, and then really digging in on the story. And today is the end result, where today Mark Perkins was charged in court. I was just at the arraignment in Kent County Court, where he's now charged, held without bail, first-degree murder for the murder of Charlotte Lester. So as I have told you, and the reason we're back here on this Wednesday is I would be harassed in this neighborhood. I would be harassed in this neighborhood. And I would tell them this was the last place she was seen alive. So on Monday night, May 16th, she rolled up here, parked her truck in the driveway, went inside that house, and never emerged alive. We've now learned, police have charged the owner of this house behind me, who was on that lawn with the orange ski mask, right, and the lawnmower, and tried to take my life right here. That night, he took her life, and then at some point, and we'll learn more details. Look at this. You know what's crazy? Is I still have to look over my shoulder in this neighborhood. Now, here's the thing. This guy, the guy that lived here, was arrested and charged first-degree murder this morning. And I still have to look up. Now, in fairness, 2 people did come by, neighbors, and said, thank you. You were right all along. But there are some neighbors around here that, thank you, that we have to like watch ourselves with. But folks, this is another, like I told you, these cases don't happen right away. I hope you saw Kathy of the family today, who was saying and thanking me, saying, while everybody else faded on the story, you stayed on it. But I want you to know, I like live. This was, as we've said, the unusual nature where Charlotte Lester went into this home behind me on Monday night, May 16th, and Perkins, he killed her. And then we've learned, disposed of her body in Exeter. He dumped off her truck at Kent Hospital, which they have video of. He dropped her dog off Post Road. And on top of that, her truck was then found. He left it at Kent Hospital. But her remains were found Saturday morning by a hunter. Now, I've already spoken to someone connected to the hunter. We're working on it. I will tell you, it's more gruesome than even I thought. But I want to come back to, folks, this is what you call a victory lap. Because I was out here, right here, doing this, totally legal, right, on the street. Suddenly he appeared. He started blasting music. The last time I stood right here was August of 2 years ago, when he came out blasting music. Then he got the lawnmower, and then he came after. Right now, who's locked up and who's standing here on Staples? Right? You tell me. So he's locked up without bail at the ACI. He's charged first-degree murder in the murder of Charlotte Lester. Now, we're going to learn more. We're going to learn a lot more. But, folks, this also shows, and I know we have so many new people, this was the beginning where I started to really lean in. If you're unfamiliar with the case, I implore you to log on to depetro.com, and we have more stories than anyone. We have more evidence of the case than anyone. We broke the fact that he got rid of the mattress. You watched. That's going to come out. He killed her on the mattress. We broke the story that her blood was on the wall in the bedroom inside. That will come out, right? Behind me, on the left, you see that shed? That's where he destroyed my equipment that night when he viciously attacked us right here. And when that happened, there were people, some of my competitors, but especially people even, and I hate to say this, in this area, who, I remember that night there was somebody down there yelling, "What are you doing here? Get out of here." I remember the Gladys Kravitz coming after me. "She's not here." Well, he had that half right. She was here. This was the last place she was seen. This is the first broadcast, by the way. This is the first broadcast where in the past I used to say that the Charlotte Lester case was a missing persons case. This is the first time on Staples in front of Mark Perkins' house that I can say it's actually not. A hunter, very grimly, but found her body in Exeter this past Saturday morning. Now, I don't know all the details yet. We may never know, but we're going to try to find out. The next case, he was in court today, held without bail. There will be a grand jury on the case. They have a lot of evidence in this case. They have a lot of evidence. But it comes back to, we started that weekend, thank you, Colleen, when she went missing, the first Saturday she went missing, I was over here, folks, on a Saturday, how many other members of the media work on Saturday? We were here that Saturday, and this entire house and property was roped off with crime scene tape, and there were 2 Warwick police officers, this house, 24/7. They dug up the septic tank. They sat here for a month. Then they went down to just one Warwick police officer. So, and then that night, he was not in this house. He was staying at his brother's house in Warwick, off of Post Road. And then, remember the whole thing with all the Buffet Jay, the huge guy that started to attack me because I was there? And what all they kept saying was, "She's not here. We don't know where she is." I remember one neighbor, "She's not here. What are you doing here? She's not here." Let me let this guy pass. There's his sign, private property. Yep, private property, all right. There were people in this neighborhood, and that's, again, behind me, that's the Mark Perkins house. That's the home that Charlotte Lester lost her life. Very violently, by the way. Very violently. He then, at some point, I don't know all the details yet, but somehow got her into, I don't know, her truck, his truck, I don't know all those details, and made his way over to Exeter and then disposed of the body. And the case has just, why did the case lie dormant? Is because they didn't have a body. They had a lot of evidence. This was the last place. This behind me, this house, this was the last place she was seen alive, as we've always stated. That's right. Buffet J, blasting it. Thank you, Grady. I appreciate that. Buffet J, even then, he was hostile. We continued to talk about, we were on a mission to try to find out what happened to Charlotte Lester. As I've said a million times, people don't just disappear. This was the last place she was seen, right here, Staples Avenue, and the home of Mark Perkins. And today, this morning, the Warwick police announced he has been charged with first-degree murder. Saturday, a hunter in Exeter, Rhode Island, was going along and gruesomely stumbled upon, and I'm going to withhold some details, but I'll tell you this. From what I understand, the individual who we're going to attempt to talk to is wildly freaked, as you can imagine, at what they stumbled into, right? I'm told initially the individual thought it was an animal. It's also my understanding that, and this is terrible, but that she could actually be intact. So, because there had been people saying, dismembered, so forth. That certainly does not seem to be the case. Certainly does not seem to be the case. So, but this is, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, folks, remember, yes, well, we pieced it together. I want you to know. We started this with, who knows, right? Because there were different people that she knew. There were some people saying she left. She's long gone. I never believed that, right? We know there's video of her at the liquor store in Apponaug where she purchased the type of beer he liked and wine. And then she was hanging out with a friend right near the crow's nest. By the way, the crow's nest is the crow's nest again. I just saw that last night. The crow's nest is the crow's nest again. Now, it came out today at the press conference, if you saw it. My case against him remains. He is, once again, a bail violator. When he got nailed on the DUI early last month. And folks, do I really even have to ask the question? With all the press today, how come no one was in court when Perkins got banged on the DUI? Check out DePietro.com. We have his mugshot. Do you know, police even told me I was the only one that reached out to them for information when they banged him, got him on the DUI. So that's number one. Number two, the DUI, he violated his bail because of my case against him, which was attempted murder, felony assault with the running lawnmower that happened right here, right on this street. The last time I was here, police were arriving. I had almost been, thank God I was not knocked out. Thank God. Because his plan that we learned was he didn't understand that I'm live right now. He didn't understand that element of it. So he thought I was just filming. So his plan, and this is gruesome to even think about, but his plan was to say that I approached him in a hostile fashion, and then I slipped, and then he accidentally ran me over with the lawnmower. Now, people can, for whatever reason, mock that. But if you got hit right here with a lawnmower, I don't think I have to get into great detail of what would have happened. Fortunately, that did not happen. The chosen one fought back. He then went scurrying. Okay, when the Warwick police arrived, I just remember there's bad Wi-Fi here, but when the Warwick police arrived, he was coming out of that house with a hatchet. But I want to talk about today. I'll tell you what today is about. Today is about, it started with, it was a disappearance of a person, Charlotte Lester. And then so many of you came out Memorial Day of 2022, that weekend. And starting on the Sunday, we met at the parking lot at Kent Hospital, and then we searched this area. And then one of our crew found the notes that he had written her at Kent Hospital. I don't know how it got there. Maybe they blew out of the truck. He had left her truck there. So, but we then did 3 searches. People volunteered time. We had people volunteering canoes. We had people scuba diver. We had people putting posters up. It was a tremendous movement that came together of people that didn't know each other. And people used to ask me, do you know her? And I'd say, I don't know her. But I do know that it was highly unusual for someone, in that case it was Charlotte, to suddenly just go missing. And there have been times I was not sure, like many of you, that the case would ever be solved. But Saturday, a hunter in Exeter literally stumbled upon her remains. Called, my understanding, contacted state police, contacted DEM. They got the medical examiner. Let me just move over. There's a car coming. Always have to keep our wits about us. And isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that as I stand here, I have to be careful because so many of the neighbors were hostile. Hostile. And some of them even got to know Charlotte. I'm not even going to say who. One of the neighbors, like, I know Charlotte. We used to see the truck, knew the dog. You know, she was an acquaintance of him, knew him here and there. Something happened. He snapped, and he took her life. And so, and it was, the police were here. Now, when the police were here, it was fine, right? Because we would come and broadcast and the police were right here. But then when the police left, and then he moved back in the house, and then I would still come over. That was the first time actually that I saw that he was home, was the night before, and I went up and rang the bell and blah, blah, blah. But anyhow, but folks, but I want to stress that, like, the people, that's to me, it was so powerful. You hear about movements. This was a movement where volunteers came together and people gave up their time. And we had the search that Sunday. And then there was 3 searches. And then there was the search at Belmont Park where the dog was. And we were going all over. And people gave up hours of time. And you know, start to chat amongst each other. And then that was our introduction to Ladybug. And it was really, you know, and as I have said sometimes, the police, hi there, Evelyn, the police can only do so much. But what is not lost on me is when I would come to this neighborhood and this street in front of this house, very hostile from the neighbors, did not like it at all. And I insisted that I believed that this was the last place she was seen alive. We were right, I believe, based on his actions. And by the way, the family, that he's the only one that would not cooperate as they were trying to get more information. It's been a very difficult for her brother, Mark Lester, for her mom, Tina, her friend Kathy, all these various people. There's a whole crew in Newport that would come, be part of the searches, that were there for the vigil. Many of you were at the vigil that we had. That was the year after. That was May of last year, 23. This year they didn't do anything on the vigil, but there was really nowhere going with the case. So, but today is a day, I really mean it, that the public stepped forward. People were very supportive of our efforts. And if I had, by the way, now right now we're at 325 people watching live. If I had been out here, and if no one would watch, and if no one would send the things in the sky, STARSs, and if people didn't become subscribers, then admittedly, you know, you want to help, but then you kind of move on to other stories. But I'm very happy that summer, the summer of 2022, we remained. It's an approach that I believe in, which is you flood the zone. You stay on it. You don't, you know, you don't just pass it off. I can tell you that one of the, this is going to seem like a knock, but so one of the television people that was the first one to announce it, I mean, they knew nothing of the story. They got tipped off by, I would imagine, state police, but which is fine. So, but my point is, we can't just sit back and wait for the police. Thank you for that, whoever sent that. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you for that. We can't. And that to me, like, that was really powerful to be part of. And there were people that wanted to just keep doing searches. You know, at no point, I don't know, no point. First of all, Exeter is an odd area because you do have to be cautious because there's hunters, obviously. So, but I want you to know that I believe I've already gotten some information. I want to wait and get a little more information before I tell you what I know. But I do know that that's the way it was described to me so far, was on Saturday morning, this past Saturday, as there's a group of hunters that go in Exeter, and they're going along, and it's an area they always go, and they walked across or stumbled across something, and were like, huh, what's that? And it was as gruesome as it actually sounds. Now, again, I'm not going to get into how did that happen, whatever. I admit I was not sure that they would ever find her and what had happened to her. I didn't. I didn't. And but we were right. We were right in the fact. Let me just step out of the way. In that we were right that they were not going to charge. A lot of people said no body, no crime. We heard that a number of different times. By the way, I also want to use this. I would be here with Ladybug. We did a live with our legal expert attorney Tim Dodd right here. I want to thank former Providence Police Lieutenant Danny Gannon right here. I want to thank my friend Amy Ames, who would be right here. I got arrested right here because I rang the bell, which was fine. I never held that against the Warwick Police. Minor misunderstanding. But then I viciously assaulted right here. This was odd. And I'll tell you, when I was, right there on the ground, and there was sand here. There's actually a lot of sand around here. You can see some of it, I think. But so when he hit me with the lawnmower, I fell back into the sand, and he had a pipe and was like going like boom, 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 like that with the pipe. So no update on that. We have not heard of anyone else charged, but it's still ongoing. But he was. It was. Here's the part that it just kind of settled on me, folks. At that time, he had already taken her life. So that night in August, as I was being attacked, and he had the running lawnmower. Remember, he is facing attempted murder, felony assault charges on that. When he was doing that, and I'm on the ground, and he has a pipe, and he's saying to me, she had to go. I'll never forget, he came, and I'm like startled, like what just happened? Plus I hit my head on the back. I had a slight concussion. But and he had a ski mask on, right? In this odd, evil voice was basically saying, I'm going to kill you like right now, right here tonight. I'm going to do it again. Which is how people, but here's the thing that set in was when that happened, he had already done it once, at least once. Maybe there's others that we don't know about. He had done it to her. We know about that. So, and Ladybug is screaming. Many of you have seen the video. And he was out of his mind. He was absolutely out of his mind. And I do want to thank Warwick Police that got here fairly quickly. Some people were watching and actually came over. And then when they went into the house, he greeted them at the door and had a hatchet. So he was then going to come out here with a hatchet as I'm standing here with Ladybug. And some bystanders by that point. By the way, here's another thing. I don't recall any of the neighbors came out and said, are you okay? Can I get you anything? No one called 911. Isn't that amazing? No one called 911. No one. All right. We got to be on guard here. I understand some people are probably not thrilled with how this investigation panned out. But for Charlotte's family, I think that's Gladys Kravitz. Oh, there's some neighbors talking. Yeah, some of them are like upset about it. Oh, poor Mark. Oh, they're talking. Listen, I'll tell you, this is a good day for law enforcement. It's a good day for the Warwick Police. It's a good day for neighborhood associations. It's a good day for community groups. We were right to draw attention to it. Thank you, by the way. Everyone's very generous this afternoon. This has been a long day coming. And, we're going to learn more details. I do want to talk, by the way, now, so just to update everyone, he was charged first-degree murder, killed her in this house behind me, right there, and then dumped her like trash in Exeter. He's being held without bail. I was in the courtroom. The guy looks a wreck. He is a menace. He's also a very dangerous killer. So he is being held without bail. It will go to a grand jury. I am very confident there'll be a conviction. I don't think they're going to let him out on bail. He also, now my case against him is intact. So first he violated his bail with my case, attempted murder. He violated bail then with the DUI. Now, with the charge today, he's violated his bail again because of my felony assault attempted murder charge. So again, they're going to keep him locked up. So now that case is still scheduled for February. But I am relieved, to be honest with everyone, that number one, I believe that certainly makes my case, I think, a lot stronger. He certainly can't take the stand, right? Mr. Perkins, are you facing any other charges at the moment? I'd like to hear that how that's going to go. He does have a very slippery attorney. I'll give him that. But there was no one from his family in court today. No one from his family was in court today. He was a lone wolf. So, but I don't know how this is going to go. Now, he is being charged right now with first-degree murder. Now, I don't believe there's going to be any type of deal in this case. So maybe there's going to be a trial. I don't know. That's a long way down the road. The next step will be the grand jury. So, hold on. Here's a car speeding along. Kind of a loud vehicle, don't you think? I don't know who that is. But I want to share something with everybody. And thank you, everyone, for their generosity. Thank you to everyone that becomes a subscriber. Rhode Patrol Live. This case, in some way, really launched what we're doing now. So, here comes this individual again. You're welcome. I will admit, it came to my attention that, and there's a tape of this that we will put out. There's audio of this. Where, isn't this crazy? I have to watch my back. Because these individuals were hostile in defending someone that is sitting at the ACI right now on murder one charges. So, but there's an individual, we have the audio, where he was, and this is Perkins now, where he was claiming, I know he's out there, meaning the chosen one. I am going to get him. I know when he goes live, this isn't over. So, folks, I want you to understand that, sometimes when I'm out and we're live and people, without warning, just pull up. I'm not going to get into specifics, and they'll say, think of you're out at night and suddenly someone pulls up in a car, no warning, headlights, and then they say, oh, you're a little jumpy. Gee, why would I be jumpy? Here comes a truck. Let me just move. We don't need another incident. You're welcome. So, number one, it was certainly in my mind, especially when we'd have things in Warwick, that, he is a nutcase. He's still out there. I saw him in court at the DUI thing. He's he's a killer. And so, I also want to be very clear. It never stopped us from going out and doing road patrol, right? Folks, I want you to take away, and I want to thank Lynn Miller. Lynn Miller sent me a nice note saying, I've never been prouder to be a supporter of yours. And I appreciate that. It's not easy being an independent. It's not easy to just, I can't sit behind a radio station and just boom to all these people the way I used to. Nope, we have to go out. Don't complain. As I've told you, people want to argue about some of the bullshit at the State House, right? Those fucking idiots. I have no patience for it. I believe there's an audience, which we've proven, and an appetite of people that want to hear about crime, and let alone something like this. Let me be really clear. There was a homicide on this street. Warwick doesn't have a lot of murders. There was a murder right in this house behind me. Forever there was. And what I do find shocking is some of the people around here were not supportive of trying to find out what happened. So now, not only did Charlotte not deserve that, no one deserves something like that. I can't tell you how much I want to try, how much I appreciate her family, her friends, who, we had a moment in court, like, I can't believe this is actually happening. I really want to thank Kathy, who went out of her way to say to the media, and singled me out in that manner. But what are we talking about, right? Like, what are we talking about? If people aren't safe, this is about someone who was clearly and still is demented, something wrong with them, and decided one night to take the life of an innocent person and then dumped her body, somewhere, which is, it goes completely against the grain of what we're all about. So this is Staples Avenue, Denise, Staples Avenue. So if you log on to dpetro.com, you can find, we have all the information about the past. I haven't had a chance. My phone, as you can imagine, has exploded all day. But folks, again, I want to thank everyone that has been very supportive, and we have very supportive staff. When we started down this road, I want to single out David Sammartino, who has been fantastic. We would have Ladybug on. It's not every day that, think of the different things that people say, the media did a good job on. Somebody went to a restaurant, they had a bad meal, they call the TV station, they're like, and we got a refund. I know that we played a role in breaking parts about the case, clearly sent him off, and I've already answered that question. Yes, they are. They're all on depetro.com. Everything is on the website. Everything is on the website. I assume people know Staples, maybe not. But again, if you want to get caught up, all the videos are linked there. You just type that in. If you just Google Charlotte Lester on Facebook, it comes up like that. So, and there's Eric. So listen, we'll have more on Rhode Patrol Live later. But again, I want to thank everyone. Again, the huge news, the person that lived here, Mark Perkins, being held right now at the ACI, no bail, first-degree murder for the murder of Charlotte Lester, and a hunter found her remains this past Saturday. They did a match, and it is her. So again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we're going to leave you with a little... there it is. It's so gruesome. There's the shed in the back. All right, I won't show anyone else's house. I'm not trying to do that. Hold on. There we go. Okay, nice and tight. So, I'm not here to answer. We've answered these questions a million times. If you're late to the case, then you go to depetro.com and you can get caught up on the case, but you don't start asking questions now. There is going to be justice for her. Yep, 100%. Yes, there's Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate it. This wasn't an easy one. Again, I really want to credit Warwick Police. This was not an easy case. And once in a while, when you build the case, they ended up getting a little lucky with the hunter this past Saturday in Exeter. Okay, there's the website. I just typed it in, depetro.com. I'm even going to pin it so those that want to get caught up on the case can get caught up on the case. We're not going to answer questions. There's their Ring camera. Let's see. We've only been asked that about 500 times. There's the house. That's where it happened. All right, folks. We'll see you later on Rhode Patrol.